I don't like UST LeapMed. Now, before you go into the comments and start burning me with all these hateful things, oh, he doesn't like UST LeapMed, just hear me out and listen to the whole story, okay? So if you're new to this channel, my name is ARLO Sanchez. I made videos on preparing for the UST LeapMed, on preparing for the exam, an interview. If you want to see more of that, which I really think that you should, so you understand a bit more of what's going on, click the I or click the link in the description. I have the whole playlist where you can see all the videos. So more on this video is about why I don't like LeapMed. So if you watched my previous video, I ended it saying I wasn't going to pursue LeapMed in the first place. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing what led me to that decision, and perhaps it could help you if you're still thinking in the back of your head, should you pursue LeapMed or not? Maybe you passed and you're having second thoughts. So this will just be extra insight for you and how you can be able to make the decision of your dreams, because this is really important. So let's start off with why I don't want to pursue medicine. Now, just a quick thing is that I started wanting to go to be a doctor, and that started about a year ago, a year and a half ago, in 2020. And that was when I first started watching Ali Abdal, who is an ex-doctor. He made videos about studying and about like active recall, spaced repetition, and that really inspired me to want to learn. So I then got the idea of, it would be cool if I could use what Ali Abdal used and be able to ace med school. So you can see how kind of shallow my reasoning behind wanting to be a doctor was. I wanted to use the techniques that Ali used so I could be the top of my class. Doesn't really seem like a very passion-driven or very strong reasoning. Because let's say I don't do well in class, because let's face it, medicine is really hard. What would happen to me? I would probably lose the motivation to want to go into medicine. So I'm glad that I chose against that decision. So believe me, it wasn't just because of wanting to get good grades or being able to apply the techniques that I learned from Ali. It was also because I loved interacting and helping people. I love people go from suffering to not suffering, from people who got shy to more confident. And I love being part of the experience in the process of improving other people's lives. And that is one of the other reasons that attracted me to a career in medicine. But then I realized, well, being a doctor, you get to help people on a very high level, because not everyone is qualified, right? Not everyone is good enough to be able to help someone go from sick to healthy. It takes a lot of expertise and a lot of work and passion and endurance. And I acknowledge that. But on the flip side, that's not the only way you can help other people. You see, there are people with loads of problems. It's not just about health. It's not just about sickness. People need help because maybe as something as low as not knowing how to tie their shoes. I just met a kid who couldn't tie his shoes, so I helped him. There are other people who need more help in public speaking, in leadership, in management, in being able to study better, and making me more disciplined. And the thing is, everyone needs help. It doesn't matter on the industry, it doesn't matter on the place that they're in. Everyone has their own problems and issues. And we as a society, we're meant to help each other. And not just as a career, not just as a doctor. So Ali Abdal is no longer a doctor. He's an ex-doctor. Now he's a YouTuber, an entrepreneur, he's a content creator, course creator. And in one of his videos, he said that why he quit medicine. And in one of his explanations, he said was, he also finds joy in helping others through teaching. Because his videos are very educational. His course is very educational. Teaches other people how to become YouTubers, teaches other people how to study, how to be more productive. And he realized that that's also helping people, because he did indeed felt the guilt of, oh, I'm going away from medicine. That means I'm running away from being a selfless person. I'm being selfish, the money and everything. He realized that not only did he was able to find joy and passion in helping others through teaching, he also was able to help people at scale. Just think about it. His YouTube channel has 2.7 million subscribers. Think about the amount of impact he's giving. And it's not just low level impact. He's literally transformed the lives of others. And you might be thinking, oh, but as a doctor, you can save people from death, right? Well, why are we trying to compare just how good one career it is to another? Can't we celebrate both of them? Both of them is transforming the lives of others, helping the society, and allowing each of us to fulfill our passions and what we enjoy doing. So is there really a need to flaunt a career, comparing it to another one? Or can we just go and focus on the reason behind it, which is to help the community and align ourselves with what our passion is, right? So I myself, I love helping people. I love curing people and making people suffer less. But when it comes to studying a lot of material for medicine and learning for 8 years, if it's something I really love to learn, that I wouldn't mind. But after studying for a biology Olympiad, which isn't even about medicine yet, I didn't feel the passion. I didn't feel the enjoyment. I didn't have the excitement of solving problems or answering the quiz bees, because I knew deep down that this is not my passion. I wanted to go out there. I didn't want to, study for tests. And if I would study it for 8, 10 more years, I knew I wouldn't be able to endure that. So that's just one of them. Another one is that medicine, to me, one thing I don't like is, it's not that the content is hard. Okay, before you put in the comments, medicine is hard, yes, but there are other harder things like, computer science or engineering. Again, don't. Okay, fine. If you want to leave an angry comment, go ahead, but just don't be so easily offended by all this. But what I mean is, medicine is hard because there's a lot of things that you have to study. I've asked, and probably you have asked, people who studied in med school, and what do they say when you ask them, oh, how's med school? You have to study everything. You don't know what's going on in the test, so you have to study everything. And the sad part is, even if you try to study everything, a lot of the things that come up on the test aren't what you studied, so you end up being disappointed. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because that's a challenge to want to know everything and be able to understand a wide scope. It's just that it doesn't align with my personality. I'm a highly focused person. I focus, on the 20% that yields the 80% of the results. I focus on that and give my 100% attention on that, because that will give me the most results and will give me the most success and will be able to help me to succeed my career further and help the community better, because I know what works and what doesn't. And in other words, being a specialist. But as a doctor, you learn a lot. You have to learn a lot. But then the important parts are, a little of everything, which is kind of difficult. And apparently, segues to my another point, is that there's a lot of foundational subjects, especially in pre-med. I'm not just talking about LeapMed. In pre-med, that doesn't really help you in med school. Now, I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong because I didn't go to med school. Maybe I got it all wrong, but there's subjects like organic chemistry. Now, you might be thinking, oh, you need to know organic chemistry to understand the prescription of drugs, right? But the thing is, most of it won't be even needed, because down the line as a doctor, you're going to take a residency. You're going to have to specialize yourself even more. And the fundamentals, while they're important, some are unnecessary. So I wouldn't want to end up looking back and thinking, oh, wow, why did I study this subject this much when it's not helping me in my residency? not helping me cure the patients that I'm handling on the day-to-day basis. Because I saw this skit, I'm pretty sure it's for comedy, but it was an intern or resident or med school intern who went and had his cardiovascular surgery residency, and he asked, and the resident, no, the one training the intern asked, okay, what do you call this blood vessel? I don't know. Then he pointed out, well, what do you call this artery? Uh, I don't know. I haven't learned that. And then, what do you call this one? Uh, I don't know. Then the anesthesiologist came out, doing a crossword puzzle and asked, hey, what is it? He asked for, like, this is the hint, right? He asked for it. Then the intern already said it's like pyruvate something 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 about pyruvate oxidation, a very long term. And then all of them like stared at each other. So I know this for comedic purposes, but it goes to show that while med school teaches you and prepares you to be a doctor, there's a lot that won't be covered as a doctor, and that just frustrates me because I want to know and focus and prioritize what will be focused on, and then you can branch out. But to me, I don't have any power. I have to fit my curriculum to that. So that's just another rant that I had. So another one is that it's a very long path, and when you come to think of it, does it feel worth it? I don't know. If there are any med school graduates watching this video, I'd really appreciate your insight and input because I really want to know. I've seen reaction videos of people being accepted not just to as a graduating med school, but getting into med school. Like they studied from morning to night for months for an exam. And while sometimes they get in, there are others that don't get in. And you might be thinking, okay, no, why are you regretting, studying for something important? It's important. But to me, studying for so long in a day for months on end, just think about how much you gave up, right? Spending time with your family and your friends, working on your health, being able to, learn other skills besides studying for a test, learning your soft skills, your management, leadership skills, and being able to know how to interact with other people. There are so many things that are being substituted and surrendered by studying for so much. And it just disheartens me, and I don't see myself in that position to not be able to experience the other parts of life because of one test. It's like my whole life is centered on that test, and there are no redos. There are no redos. There are no second chances, because when you want to be a doctor, you have to be ready to stick to a long and rigid life schedule, life track. And to me, it just looks risky to me. And you might be thinking, oh, it's risky. I mean, you have job security for the rest of your life. But what if you don't like it? What if you can't financially support it? What if something bad happens during the job? What if a pandemic? No, a pandemic happens, doctors still get their job. Okay, what if what if an economic recession happens? Will you be able to financially sustain yourself and the people you're living with? While it is safe to have something guaranteed, it's not guaranteed for you to have a really sustained life, right? So it is risky. And more on that on another video, because I think I'm getting off topic here. The video was about why I don't like LeapMed, and I talked about why I don't like medicine, right? So just to top it off, being a doctor, studying in med school doesn't fit my lifestyle. I don't want to sit for days on end for a test just to get bad on it, and then the content is not going to help me focus and specialize in my career down the line. It just doesn't seem like a logical an emotional thing for me, because I would see myself regretting my decision. And lastly is I don't like being an employee. I know that sounds self-centered, but at least I know it. I don't like, I don't mind, following a set of rules and, establishing my role and being a member of a team, right? Because those are all important. What frustrates me is if my leader isn't as competent, if there are rules that I have to follow for the sake of following, not because there's a good reason, and there's no room for, communication or for collaboration to make things better, and then your life relies on that team, on that employer, that's gonna be very bad for me. So that's why I didn't want to. And also another reason why an employee doesn't fit me is not control over my own time. It's your pay and you are instructed to work at a set period of time and not by amount of things that you work. So yeah, a lot of employees, they've complained that if the more work you do, the more productive you are, the more work will be given onto you, because they trust you now to be able to be uh to do the work well. So that's not that related to being a doctor, but that's part of it. So to top it off, why I'm not into medicine anymore as I was a year ago was that there are other ways to help people. The content of studying medicine isn't hard. It's just a lot. And that's what makes it very, very hard. There's a lot of unnecessary fundamentals that doesn't help in when you're down the line as a career. Again, I might be wrong, so please correct me. I don't want to have a false assumption here. Fourth, it's a long and hard path. And fifth, the lifestyle doesn't suit me. And lastly, I'm not suited to be an employee in the long run. Of course, I'd want to be an employee to learn, but not because I want to be an employee for the rest of my life. Another video on that later if you're interested. So now we segue into being into LeapMed and why I didn't want to go into LeapMed in the first place. And of course, the number one reason was I don't want to get into medicine. So that's already that's the number one reason. But let's say I still wanted to get into medicine. Why would I not go into LeapMed? Well, first, let's talk about the things of why I wanted to get into LeapMed. Because back then, that was my number one goal, to get into LeapMed and to save 2 years of my life so I could start being a doctor. And the reason why was, one, it saves time, saves money, saves tuition. Two, guaranteed med school in UST, which is the best med school in the country. Three, it's no need for the NMAT, no need to study for that, no need to take that, because you're guaranteed to get into UST. I might be wrong. You might need to take NMAT. Any med school, LeapMed students watching this video, correct me down below. Number four is that there's a guaranteed residency and an internship. Now that's very tempting, right? Because they're making it guaranteed for you. Like the risk is no longer there. There's no consequence, right? You get less time to fulfill the course. You get to be a doctor sooner. You get to achieve your dreams sooner. But the thing is it really worth it? My mindset back then was to have it fast, to have the results fast, to get there as soon as possible. And then I'll be happy. But after reflection and experiencing it through the competitions, through like ACT, PBO, if you've seen the vlogs back then, I realized that once I get it, whether I win or lose, it's kind of like, okay. There's no like celebration. And if there was, then it would just be for like 5 minutes. Then, okay, my mind would be like, okay, on to the next. What should I do next? So this mindset from a goal set mindset to that, okay, to our rewards mindset, to a growth and continuous mindset. That the train is never gonna stop. Whether it's at the station, it will just stop for a few minutes. Then it will continue on its road. So why did I say that? It's because medicine is a long and hard path, and that there is no clear end goal. Just because you graduated doesn't mean it's over. You still have work to do. Just because you got into residency doesn't mean it's over. You still have work to do. just because you're the, one of the best doctors in your hospital. There's still work to do, right? So there's always something to go through, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that I don't want my hopes up high so much on one's particular goal, only to realize there's something else. And then I'll start to think, what was the point of this? Was this just for my ego? But about LeapMed, another reason was I wasn't exactly sure if I wanted to be a doctor. And if you're into LeapMed, you have to be 120% sure you want to be a doctor. You need to be able to want to be a doctor for the rest of your life, because when you LeapMed as a pre-med, the only thing you can do after that is be a doctor. There's no other jobs available. So I think that we should continue this on another video, part 2. Just subscribe and ring the notification bell. I'll be able to upload part 2 of why I didn't choose LeapMed, and that video will also help you make your better decision. So all of that and more. See you in the next video.